Ah, retirement. It's probably the biggest financial puzzle we all have to solve, right? In this explainer, we're diving into the brilliant insights from Teresa Ghilarducci's book, How to Retire with Enough Money. Our goal? To help you figure out your magic number and, more importantly, how to actually get there. So let's jump right in. Okay, so let's just cut right to it. I have a question for you, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Do you know, like really know, how much money you'll need to retire? Not a guess, but a real number. If the answer is no, or even kinda, don't worry, you are in exactly the right place. Now, before we get to the solutions, we have to understand the problem. And wow, this number right here, 50%, is pretty sobering. Based on the research in the book, that's roughly how many working age Americans have, get this, zero saved for retirement. Not a little, but zero. This isn't just a personal failing, it's a huge systemic issue. And that number, that 50%, really sets the stage for our first section. Look, if you're feeling anxious or behind on your savings, the most important thing to know is that you are not, and I mean not, alone in this. Let's dig into why this became such a widespread challenge. You know, Teresa Ghilarducci really hits the nail on the head with this quote. We all have this idea, this dream of what retirement should look like, right? Comfortable, secure, stress-free. But for so many, the statistics just don't line up with that dream. Understanding this disconnect is the first step toward fixing it for yourself. So, how did we get here? What actually happened? Well, this slide shows the whole story in a nutshell. We used to live in the world of the old way. Your parents or grandparents probably had pensions. The company guaranteed them an income for life. But now, we're in the new way, the world of 401ks. And you can see the biggest change right there at the bottom. The responsibility went from being on the company to being squarely on your shoulders. And this brings me to a huge myth we absolutely have to bust. So many people think, oh, I'll have Social Security. And you will. But it was never, ever meant to be your only source of money in retirement. It's designed to be a safety net, to replace only a part of your income. That gap that's left over, that's what your personal savings have to cover. All right, so enough about the problem, right? Let's start talking about the solution. And it all begins with answering that one giant, kind of scary question. Just how much is enough? So a really great place to start is this simple rule of thumb. Most experts agree you should aim to have about 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income for each year you're in retirement. Why not 100%? Well, think about it. You won't be paying payroll taxes, you won't be saving for retirement anymore, and a lot of work-related costs just disappear. So this gives us a solid yearly target to aim for. Okay, now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. Let's actually calculate your number. I promise, we're going to turn this giant, overwhelming idea into some very simple math. It's not nearly as scary as it sounds. So here's the playbook, broken down into 4 really simple steps. First, figure out your annual expenses, using that 70-80% rule we just talked about. Second, subtract any other income you know you'll have, like your estimated Social Security benefits. Third, whatever's left over, that's the amount your own savings need to cover each year. And finally, step 4. Take that yearly number and multiply it by how many years you think you'll be retired. Let's say 25. And boom, that is your number. So that final figure we just landed on, that's the big one. That's your number. It stops being this vague, cloudy concept and becomes a real, concrete goal that you can actually work towards. It's the total amount you need to save to live the life you want. So you've got this big target number. The question is, how on earth do you reach it? Well, this is where you get a superpower, and its name is compounding. Honestly, time is the most powerful tool you have in your arsenal. Just look at this chart. This right here is everything. We've got 2 people. They save the exact same amount of money every year. The only difference is when they started. One person began at 25, the other waited just 10 years and started at 35. The difference in the end is staggering. And that extra money didn't come from saving more. It came purely from the magic of time. So what's the magic behind that? It's this beautiful, simple concept. Your money earns returns, right? But then those returns start earning their own returns. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but over decades, it picks up speed and grows into something massive. That is the incredible power of compounding. Okay, so let's recap. We get the problem, we know how to find our number, and we've got a secret weapon, compounding. So what now? In this final section, let's turn all this talk into immediate action. All right, here it is, your action plan. This is what you can do starting today. First, just take an honest look at where you are right now, your income, your debts, your savings. Next, do the math and estimate your number. Then, and this is the most important one, start saving something. Even a small amount is infinitely better than nothing. Break your big goal down into smaller monthly chunks. And finally, remember this isn't set in stone. Check in on your plan every year or so because life changes and your plan should be able to change with it. So I want to leave you with one final question. Just one. Don't think about the whole giant mountain you have to climb. Just think about the very first step. What is one action, one single, small thing you will do this week for the person you're going to be in the future? Maybe it's just running the numbers. Maybe it's opening an IRA. Whatever it is, just taking that first step, that's how you begin.